Here in Miami, the Saints came in undefeated, a high-scoring outfit. Would they continue against the Miami Dolphin team known for their wildcat offense and trying to make it 3 straight in their own right? The Dolphins and the Saints with so much to play for in this game here in Miami, and the game has delivered right down the line. And right now, here is the first half summary brought to you by DirecTV. Huge edge by the Dolphins in the running game, and the turnovers have been a big factor, Charles.
14 points for the Dolphins off of turnovers, and the Saints pick up 7 late, which helps keep them in the ball game.
What do you foresee in the second half, because the Saints got a second win, so to speak?
Well, I think Drew Brees is talking Sean Payton into going for it right before the half and getting the touchdown. That was big. Now the defense has to start for New Orleans and help pay that off by taking charge out there. I thought the defense got better in the first half for the Saints, as did their offensive line, which allowed them to move down the field and gain the touchdown right before the half. They'll have to continue that increased play in the second half.
And the Dolphins, of course, getting the ball first, 83 degrees, and still no chance of thunderstorms yet. And the kickoff into the end zone, Ted Ginn Jr. fakes the reverse and runs it out. Ginn had been the kickoff return man until Cobbs took over. Now Cobbs is hurt as we check in with Jamie Maggio.
Hi, Dick. Thank you. I talked to Coach Sperano at the half, and he said regarding his defense that they're doing a really good job putting pressure on the quarterback. They're getting their hands up and on the ball. He said it was absolutely critical to score first against this Saints team that is accustomed now to setting the tone for the game. Coach Payton, he said that Drew Brees actually did have to talk him into running that quarterback sneak. He had confidence in him, and we're about to go to the play.
All right, pretty good report. Thank you, Jamie. And on the first down, Ricky Williams carries as the Dolphins starting from the 17-yard line. A loss of 1 on the play. Jonathan Vilma, who has been the defensive stars thus far for the Saints.
I like the hustle by Jamie, making sure that Sean Payton did have to get talked into it by Drew Brees. She got the rest of the story for us.
How about keeping one eye on the line of scrimmage when the players got there to run the play?
Yeah, hey, she got us right back to the action. Appreciate that. Nice job.
Second down and 11. Vilma trying to fill the gap and then moves back, and here is Penny with his pass, and the pass is incomplete. Joey Hanos out of bounds, incomplete. Penny 7 of 10 for 62 yards in the first half.
See, the matchup was the tight end against a safety, and a nice job by Roman Harper battling Joey Hanos so he can't come down with his feet in bounds to complete the catch.
So it's third down and 11, and the crowd very quiet right now after a raucous start by the Dolphins. Miami looking to get the ball to first down yardage. Saints want it back. Third and 11. Empty backfield. Here comes the pressure on Henny, and this pass is intercepted. Sharper off a deflection, bringing it back for the Saints inside the 10-yard line, and Darren Sharper is in for the touchdown. So Tracy Porter had deflected it. Ted Ginn Jr. was downfield, and let's see whether Sharper got into the end zone for the touchdown that was signaled. He lost the ball at the very end.
Ball came out at the very end and went over the sideline. Tough to tell from there, but the signal definitely given that it was a touchdown.
And the challenge flag has been thrown by Tony Sperano, and he'll challenge this one. Darren Sharper, who has returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns, very nearly had a third if it weren't for a roughing the passer call last week.
And what I think would be significant here is we see the ball come out, Dick. Even if it's not a touchdown,
it will either be a score or it will be a touchback.
In other words, it's either a touchdown or a touchback.
Exactly. That's the significance of the whole thing.
In other words, if he lost possession and it went out of the end zone, it would be Miami ball. We'll be back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Miller Lite, there's light beer and then there's triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By AT&T, your world delivered. And by Autotrader.com, you'll find the car you want at the price you want at Autotrader.com.
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play stands as called. Touchdown.
Indisputable visual evidence to change the initial call that it was a touchdown. We're freezing it where the ball is out.
See, there's the ball. But can you tell from that angle whether he's crossed the plane? See, that's where it comes in, that it's not indisputable.
And Carney's extra point is good, so all of a sudden on the turnover, and we've had 4 touchdowns scored by virtue of the turnover in this game. Darren Sharper, for the 3rd time this year, has had a pick 6, and that is a team record and his 6th interception overall.
Look at the defense. This is what we call man free. It's man-to-man all over the place, right? But this guy right here is the free safety, Darren Sharper, which means he flows to where the football is. Tracy Porter in the coverage helps pop the ball up, actually pops it a 2nd time, and Darren Sharper grabs it and then takes it to the end zone. And look at Chad Henne, hit as he throws the football. The pressure from Jonathan Vilma, not enough to disrupt the throw, but Tracy Porter, a nice play in man-to-man coverage, and Darren Sharper, the beneficiary, as the free safety.
And Sharper in his 13th year, first with New Orleans.
Look at that, tip drill, tip drill, tip drill.
That's why they have it.
Dennis Allen, the defensive backs coach, will tell him again, how many times do we practice it? This is why we practice it.
So 28 points off of turnovers, and we're only in the infant moments of this 3rd quarter.
Didn't Jamie tell us that Tony Sparano told her it was really important to score first in the 2nd half for his Dolphins? Instead, the score went the other way.
So, Charles, in 1 minute and 6 seconds, the Saints have scored 2 touchdowns. And now it is 24-17. Thomas Morstead will be kicking off, and Ted Ginn Jr. This is a returnable kick for sure. On the 4 is Ginn. Ted Ginn Jr. goes down at the 23-yard line. Darnell Dinkins making the play. So Chad Henne coming back in, has completed 7 of 12 for 62 yards and has thrown that 1 interception. And as you pointed out, was hit, and good coverage on Ginn Jr. downfield. So all of a sudden, the Dolphins, who at one point led 24-3, have allowed 14 unanswered points, and they start from the 23.
And remember, in the first half, for most of it, Miami was quicker to the point of attack than New Orleans. That seems to be changing.
And here's Henne. And he is sacked as the protection goes down. Anthony Hargrove, who replaced the injured Cedric Ellis with his 2nd sack of the game.
Anthony Hargrove, the defensive tackle. Watch him make the push back to the quarterback as he just walks Justin Smiley back to Chad Henne and gets the sack. Terrific job. 2nd time today, Hargrove has put pressure on Henne.
And a loss of 6. Hargrove in his 5th year from Georgia Tech, and the Saints winning now the individual matchups up front. And here's a fake to Ronnie Brown. Good pressure, and this pass is caught by Brian Hartline, the rookie from Ohio State, and his first catch of the game. He gets to the 25 and still will need a bunch of yards. A 9-yard pickup there.
What I liked about this play for Miami was coming right back with the young quarterback after he gets sacked and coming right back and putting the ball in his hands to make a play, and he did.
But he's getting pressure.
Yes, but you notice how they moved him? Dan Henne notices the pressure, moves him a little to try and give him a clearer sight line downfield, and it works, but this is a big 3rd down.
They need 8.
Showing pressure up front.
And here it comes, and Henne gets hit as he lets it go, and it was intended for Hardline. And the Dolphins are claiming there was a push-off downfield by the Saints. Roman Harper, but no call, and 4th down, and all of a sudden the New Orleans Saints defense has come alive up the middle.
Start having some success, and see, Jabari Greer cuts off Brian Hartline. allows him not to, he cuts him off as he tries to run his route. What the Dolphins would argue is, hey, that's an illegal touch outside the 5-yard zone.
Brandon Fields kicking to Reggie Bush at the 28, and Bush is hit immediately. Dolphins have had outstanding kick coverage. That time it was Reggie Torbor, who also has an interception to his credit today. Still early in the third, it's a 1-touchdown game.
A lot of key plays that have gotten New Orleans back into this game. Drew Brees talking his coach Sean Payton into going for the touchdown with 5 seconds to go in the first half. And then to start the second half, Tracy Porter, after some pressure by Jonathan Vilma on the quarterback, knocks it free for Darren Sharper, who brings it all the way back for a touchdown. And Anthony Hargrove with a sack of young quarterback Chad Henne. So to me now the pressure shifts back to the Miami defense and Paul Pasqualoni, their coordinator.
First down at the 35 of the Saints. They need 1 touchdown to tie it, and here's Pierre Thomas. Pierre Thomas on the ground, and a gain of 3, and right now the Saints have gained only 26 yards on the ground, but make no mistake about it, Paul Pasqualoni has his work cut out for him here against the Saints offense coming alive.
For most of the first half, he was winning the battle of play callers between himself and Sean Payton, the head coach of the Saints. Now that the momentum has shifted, he's got to see if he can get it back with a big play on defense.
Second down and 7. Meacham and Henderson are the wide receivers. And Meacham goes in motion. And getting hit is Brees. Got hit from behind. Joey Porter, who came in untouched earlier in the game, finally gets a hit on Brees. And the incomplete pass brings up 3rd and 7.
Whether he's standing up or with his hand on the ground, Joey Porter, number 55, is a terror off the edge. Pierre Thomas slips trying to block for Drew Brees, and Porter goes right around.
Porter's been bothered by a hamstring lately. Running well today. 3rd and 7. A big 3rd down play early in this 3rd quarter. And Brees stepping up, and his pass open and caught. Devery Henderson gets extra yards, and he's tackled at the 25-yard line. So escaping the pressure, and a 37-yard catch by Henderson. Finally, Tyrone Culver brings him down.
The Dolphins rush 4 guys, but watch Henderson working on the outside against Sean Smith, the rookie. And Brees, with all that was going on around him, steps up into the pocket and delivers, even with Joey Porter latched onto it. Great job by Drew Brees in the pocket, delivering on 3rd down.
And the momentum of this game has dramatically changed. Saints have it right now, 1st down, and here's a pass tipped away by Will Allen. Intended for Marcus Colston, and for a game break, here's Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
The Atlanta Falcons had pulled to within 3 in Dallas, but back come the Cowboys, and back comes Miles Austin. 250 yards in his last game. He's got 144 and 2 scores today, and Atlanta trails 24-14. That will lead 3rd quarter. Dick and Charles.
All right, Kurt, wild game in Dallas. We got a wild one here, Charles.
Yes, we do.
2nd down and 10. Hand off to Pierre Thomas trying to go outside, and a great play by Channing Crowder, who pursued Thomas and got him on a loss of 1 yard on the play. Could not have played the run any better.
And Channing Crowder is a crowd favorite here, a University of Florida graduate. He plays with a lot of passion and emotion and intensity. The one thing that he's been missing from his game, the big splash plays on defense, the tackles for losses, the forced fumbles, the interceptions. That's the type of play they're looking for from Channing Crowder.
So another big 3rd down play coming up as Reggie Bush goes in motion to the left. Saints have been a healthy 3rd down team. Here's Brees going up on top, and the pass is caught, and it's intercepted. It is picked off by Nate Jones of the Dolphins in the end zone. What a play with Holston back there. And Nate Jones just stripped the ball away from Colston in the end zone. Just snared it away from him. And the Dolphins get it at the 20.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevy. Put us up against anyone, and may the best car win.
And Marcus Colston, with his head down, had the ball really taken away in full view of the crowd by Nate Jones. So first down at the 20-yard line. Ronnie Brown off the left side. And Darren Sharper knocks him out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Gain of 6 yards. But what a day for that young secondary, which you talked about earlier for the Dolphins. Culver with his second career interception, and Nate Jones just moments ago with his second.
They've been ball hawks all day in this game, playing through the receivers, knocking balls away. A couple, 3 pass interceptions now. What a great job by them. And here's Chad Henne coming out wide again.
So this is the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown getting the direct snap. On 2nd and 4, high snap, and Ronnie Brown looking for running room and bullying his way within a couple of yards of the first down.
More wrinkles from this Wildcat. This was a misdirection run without a ball fake. Because watch Ronnie Brown. As he takes it down, he's going to move to his left. See, moves left and waiting to get the blocking angle, and then he comes back right behind his fullback, Polite. Good job really by New Orleans rallying to the football, but they continue to show different wrinkles with the Wildcat.
How about Sharper and Vilma and the kind of game they have played all over the field for the Saints? So it'll be 3rd down and 2. Again, the Wildcat. On 3rd and short, Ronnie Brown will take it himself and will be stopped short of the first down. And Jonathan Vilma makes the big defensive play, and the Saints force the Dolphins to punt once again.
And how about Jabari Greer, the cornerback? Hey, everybody wants to be a cover guy, right? In this league, you've got to be able to play the run too in most situations. And Jabari Greer blew up that play by being the force guy against the run, and that shut it down.
Brandon Fields punting away to Reggie Bush. Backing up is Reggie Bush at the 20. And down he goes. And it's Vontae Davis with his second big play. The rookie would not let Reggie Bush get away with a spectacular open field tackle. Saints have the ball, however, when we return. Saints have the ball 1st and 10 on the 20. Trailing by a touchdown with 8:12 to go in the 3rd. Drew Brees. And his pass over Colston, incomplete. 2nd down.
Check out the 3rd down stop. Jabari Greer here, Jonathan Vilma here. They're the 2 collaborators. Watch Greer, number 32, blow things up by being the force guy as he takes out Polite, the fullback. Now watch Vilma playing off of the block. And then once he plays off the block, Scott Shanley helps squeeze it down, and they stop the play on 3rd down. How about that for the starting corner, Jabari Greer?
Jabari Greer played with Buffalo before coming to the Saints. 2nd down and 10 from the 21 on a play action, and Brees has no chance, and he is sacked inside the 15, and Joey Porter leads the parade. That's the 4th sack of the game by the Dolphins, and a loss on the play of 8.
Joey Porter coming right at you, off of the edge, ends up beating Jermon Bushrod, but he also got some help from Philip Merling, number 97, in the ball game at defensive end. Helps squeeze down the pocket on Drew Brees and creates the sack.
So this is a good set of downs for Paul Pasqualoni, the defensive coordinator. Let's see if they can close the deal on 3rd and 17. Brees gets hit, loses the ball. And the Dolphins get right in there under it. It was Jason Taylor who forced the fumble. And this would be huge. Miami. So the Dolphins, who had only 4 takeaways coming into this game, have had 4 this afternoon against the Saints.
How about the back-to-back plays? Marcus Colston unable to get free. But here comes Jason Taylor knocking the ball free before the arm came forward. So you have the empty hand rule. Drew Brees threw, but the ball, I believe, was knocked out before he got the arm forward. That's going to be what New Orleans is going to check and see if they can get a ruling on that. But Miami rallies and gets the football.
Here we go.
Randy Starks for the Dolphins recovered the fumble. It'll be a first down on the 15 of the Saints. And the pitch goes to Ricky Williams. And Williams diving toward the 10, and Scott Shanley making the tackle.
See Brees in the pocket. Here comes Jason Taylor. Knocks the ball free before Drew Brees can get rid of the football, creating the turnover for Miami. Back-to-back series. We talked about Paul Pasqualoni. Could they get things going? They get an interception from Nate Jones before New Orleans could get in the end zone, and they come right back on this play and create a turnover.
And only the second time this year that the Dolphins have recovered a fumble. And Henne on the sideline, so here comes the Dolphin Wildcat in the red zone. Second down and 6 on the 11. Fake to Ricky Williams. And they have Ronnie Brown hemmed in. And Brown gets some of it back and leaps his way. And tell you what, he went a long way and worked very hard to only lose 4 yards on the play.
You haven't seen as pretty a loss in a running play since Barry Sanders retired. Used to be how Barry would do it. And look at this. There's the fake, and a great job by New Orleans diagnosing the play. See him fighting off Scott Shanley. Now you get another guy into the chase. That's number 94, Charles Grant. He makes the big leap before Anthony Hargrove knocks him out of bounds.
Well, he's got to be winded there. Ricky Williams, of course, comes in. Not a bad backup. Third down and 10. And there's the short pass in a crowd and nearly an interception as Porter almost came up with it. And Greer actually was closest to it. So fourth down, and the field goal team comes out. Talking about Ricky Sanders, it used to be 5, -2, -8, 36,
yes.
-4, 70.
The 36 and the 70 being the key numbers. We enjoyed the other ones. The 36 and 70 his team enjoyed.
Dan Carpenter, first attempt today, was a 32-yard field goal. This from 33, and the kick is good. So the Dolphins stop the siege of the Saints and now have a 10-point lead. 5:59 to go in the third. And welcome back to a rocking Landsharp Stadium here in Miami, actually closer to Fort Lauderdale, and the Dolphins lead is 10 over the Saints in a battle between the undefeated New Orleans Saints, who have piled up big margins of victory against the Dolphins, who are trying to get back in the race at 2-3 in the AFC East. And the kick returned by Courtney Roby, and he is buried at the 17-yard line by Chris Clemens.
How about the defense that we've seen exhibited today, especially by the Dolphins defensive backs? Sean Smith with that play. Then Tyrone Culver, Jabril Wilson. Nate Jones with one play. Another one there by Will Allen. And how about this? The coup de grace. Nate Jones with the pick, taking the ball away from Marcus Colston. If you look at the numbers today, just 25 yards allowed on the ground, 5 sacks, 4 takeaways for the Dolphins defense.
So it'll be a first down, and for the first time today, we see Mike Bell in at running back. Comes into the game as the second leading rusher for the Saints. And on first down, Bell gets the carry, and a great run by Bell, and a first down as Jeremiah Bell brings down Mike Bell after a huge gain that winds up in Dolphin territory. That'll be 36 yards on first down.
Sometimes those fresh legs coming into the game can really give you an advantage, as hard fought as this game has been. Watch Mike Bell with the vision, sees the hole cutting back, and sees it, and then runs through Channing Crowder, who was engaged at the line of scrimmage with Jari Evans, number 73 for the Saints.
Bell had a touchdown, along with 6 other Saints against the Giants. Remains in the game and gets the call again. Head down and running into his own lineman as he gets to the 41-yard line. Call it the 42. Channing Crowder, and that will be a gain of about 5.5.
You take a look at Mike Bell's stature, and it doesn't immediately scream power back. but that's exactly how he runs. It's a good short yardage inside runner. And look at him, just lower his shoulder and runs through the initial tackle by Channing Crowder.
2nd down and 5. And now Colston is up on top. And the end around to Devery Henderson. Henderson gets the first down. And with a head of steam, runs into the Dolphin defender Jabril Wilson. It'll be another first down. And all of a sudden the Saints, with a breath of fresh air, getting back in the game, a first down at the 30.
Watch the block here by Jonathan Stinchcomb. And then as he cuts through the hole, Devery Henderson, he also got some help from Jonathan Goodwin.
Stinchcomb was shaken up earlier in the game, came back at right tackle. Pierre Thomas comes in at running back. First down at the 29. And they give it to Thomas. And maybe Sean Payton wants to make a statement right here. We know we've been a passing team with Drew Brees, but we also have one of the better running attacks in the league. 4th overall, and we're using it now and using up the clock too.
One of the raps the Saints have been fighting for a number of years is that they are a finesse passing team. Last year they ran for less than 100 yards per game. They made running the football commitment throughout the organization this year. Now they average about 160 per game.
55-45. The run, but not today, as Brees' pass to Lance Moore. And Moore getting inside the 15-yard line. Vontae Davis making the play, and this is a crisp drive, and it's been done on the ground by the Saints.
The man in motion was Lance Moore, and sometimes what you create, Dick, is a natural gap between the defensive back and the receiver when you run him in motion across the formation, because the defensive back has to run through traffic of his own defense. He ends up giving more ground than maybe he intends. That opened the out route to Lance Moore.
So a first down on the 12. Drive started on the Saints 18. Here's Pierre Thomas up ahead. And hitting him first was Jason Ferguson. And the ball down to the 10-yard line. A pickup of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
As much as the Dolphins talked about doing the punching coming into this game and punching first, and they have done plenty of punching today, the Saints have not even come close to taking a standing 8 count. They're the ones punching. They're the ones doing the punching right now.
So this team, known for its passing attack, have rushed the ball 5 times and passed only once. And this is going to be a swing pass to Reggie Bush. Nowhere. And that was Vontae Davis. Again, the 25th overall pick in the draft out of Illinois, making the play. No gain, and it'll be 3rd down.
And you think about the future at corner for the Miami Dolphins. Sean Smith, the rookie out of Utah. Vontae Davis, the rookie out of Illinois. The veteran Will Allen leading them. Should put a smile on any Dolphins fan's face.
They're still growing. Let's see if they're equal to the Saints here on 3rd down and 8.
Haven't called Shockey's name in a while.
And there's Brees, and touchdown to Marcus Colston. On an out pattern in the back of the end zone, a 10-yard touchdown throw, Drew Brees to Marcus Colston. And that will bring the Saints, if the extra point is successful, to within 3.
How many interceptions for Drew Brees today? 3?
3.
Did you notice any hesitation in that young man going down the field? None. Veteran guys, they shake it off. They come back and keep firing.
So here's John Carney. And what a comeback this has been for the Saints. Something they haven't had to do all season long. And Carney's kick makes it a 27-24 game with 1:09 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And you have to think, looking at the Saints, that they feel they've weathered the storm in this one.
Weathered it, and I know they're still down 3 on the scoreboard, but as far as they're concerned, they're back even. Remember, the defense shut Miami down on the last turnover and held them to a field goal. Here's Marcus Colston. That's the guy he wants. Watch Drew Brees on the little half roll. Colston puts his foot in the ground and goes to the flag because this guy holds the guy short. See, he takes him out of coverage. Now it's Colston right there. Pump fake short, throw it into the end zone, touchdown. Watch Breeze. He's going to pump fake to the short receiver, which is Lance Moore. The guy he wants all along is Marcus Colston running the flag route.
That's the 5th touchdown catch of the year for Colston. And for Drew Brees, his first touchdown pass of the game. So now he has 14 on the season, 109 to go in the 3rd. And we still have a full quarter to go, Charles, and a minute here. But this is a critical time for the Dolphins to maintain their equilibrium. They are up by 3. Ted Ginn Jr. back at the goal line, and Thomas Morstead, the rookie from SMU, with the kick. Here's Ginn. And Ginn goes out of bounds. Well, here comes Miami, and all of a sudden the Saints went to the running game. Now, what do you foresee here? Has the Wildcat side, kind of been, not eliminated, but the Saints have been equal to the task lately with that play.
They've really caught up with it in a lot of ways. You don't eliminate running the Wildcat, but now you need some plays from Chad Henne in the pass game, because you've got to get the run lanes opened up again, because now you've got the Saints mugging the line of scrimmage with their defensive line and their linebackers, trying to take away the gaps to run the football.
So the pass could set up the run if that's the plan, and here is Henne to throw on first down and gets hit from behind, and the pass is incomplete.
Look like Will Smith creating the pressure, getting to the quarterback, Chad Henne. And I like what the Dolphins tried to do, throw the ball on a running down. So they're such a heavy run team. First down's usually a nice time to throw the football. But in that case, the Saints had everything covered.
On that last drive, it went 8 plays, 82 yards. 2nd down and 10, under a minute remaining in the 3rd. Besson Camarillo to the right, but here's the slant, and it's caught by Brian Hartline. And Hartline speeding his way inside the 20, and finally tripped up by Tracy Porter. So just when you needed Henne, he delivered on a slant, and Hartline did the rest to the tune of 67 yards.
The book on Brian Hartline is that he's a real solid, strong, smart receiver, and he showed all of that on that play. Used his body, was physical in running the route, didn't let Tracy Porter knock the ball free.
And here comes the Wildcat now. 1st and goal, Ricky Williams getting the snap. Polite blocking, and Ricky Williams scores his 3rd touchdown. It was set up, of course, by the 67-yard pass to Hartline, and Ricky Williams did the rest. 3 touchdowns for him. And Miami now leads 33-24. Can make it a 10-point game. Dan Carpenter does, with 3 seconds remaining in the 3rd.
How about the blocking? You see the big guys up front, but this is the guy. Watch Lusaka Polite, the fullback, leading the way for Ricky Williams. Scott Shanley trying to make the play. Polite takes him and moves him, and Ricky Williams waltzes into the end zone.
So the Wildcats still working, obviously, and part of the Dolphins' bread and butter. And it was the pass play to Hartline that set it up.
Watch this side, Dick. Here's an overload pressure coming at Chad Henne. So he goes away from it to where the pressure is not. And it's really one-on-one. A man free again. And this time, watch the play by Hartline. He makes the catch, and then he runs away from Darren Sharper, who gets a bad angle going to the receiver. Really well done by Chad Henne, recognizing the overload, going away from it and completing the pass. And Ricky Williams is having quite a night here in South Florida.
And both of his touchdown runs He had 2 of them from 4, and of course 1 from 68. So the 67-yard pass was 1 yard shy of the longest play of the game. Ricky Williams' 68-yard touchdown run. And here's the kickoff. Courtney Roby on the run from the goal line, getting momentum and put down just beyond the 20-yard line. And so that was Cameron Wake. Special teams play. Saints get it again. Wild game here in Miami. 34-24. We start the 4th quarter. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, Jamie Maggio, already 58 points scored. But you might as well stick with us, because in 4th quarter points scored this year, the Dolphins and Saints are 3 and 4 in the league. It'll be a first down at the 21 for New Orleans. Mike Bell is the tailback. And Drew Brees getting plenty of time and completes a pass to Jeremy Shockey. And Shockey still on his feet and unable to be brought down as Shockey. What a great run after the catch. Finally, Jabril Wilson brings him down. It was a 66-yard play all the way, and I think 35 or 40 of it was the run.
Look at what he does after the catch. He shakes off Vontae Davis, and now the old-fashioned straight arm as he just pounds Jabril Wilson. 45 yards gained after the initial contact by Jeremy Shockey. The only way they got him down was to finally dive down towards his legs. See, Jabril Wilson finally, I can't get him down through his chest, have to knock his legs out.
Boy, how much determination did he show? First down, and here's Mike Bell. And Bell is hit first by Randy Starks, and a gain of 3 yards on the play. So the Saints are threatening, and what a shootout we have here in Miami in this battle between the undefeated Saints and their prolific scoring attack. Sean Payton's team leading the league, 38 points a game, and the Dolphins, a grueling, tough running team in their own right.
And this zone always seems to be a zone to keep an eye on. Marcus Colston, the wide receiver. 2nd
and 7, Reggie Bush. Bush is to the bottom of your picture, to the right. And there is the end around and a double reverse. Here is Reggie Bush on the double reverse inside the 10, dives in. And no signal given yet. And a flag is down in the end zone. Penalty marker down, and a touchdown signaled for the Saints. But a flag was thrown in the end zone on the opposite side of where the play wound up.
I have a few things to sort out here, but Drew Brees created a key block without being entirely physical. He just walled off a defender like a pick in basketball. Let's see if Reggie Bush got in. Look at the leap.
The ruling on the field is a score, and after the score, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 52 of the defense. The penalty will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
And again, if you're wondering, it's goal line extended on plays like this, where you can go, because you look at the pylon, you extend the goal line, and so he was in the air, and so it is a touchdown by Bush. And now 15 yards will be tacked on Channing Crowder's penalty on the kickoff. Here's John Carney, and it is again a 3-point game with the Dolphins leading 34-31. We've got to catch our breath sometime during this 4th quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Hyundai Assurance, a little certainty in uncertain times. By the fourth kind, based on the actual case studies in theaters November 6th. And by Bud Light, with the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability.
And there's Reggie Bush with his 3rd touchdown, but the guy who made the drive count was Jeremy Shockey, along with Drew Brees, his 66-yard catch and run, of which 45 was the run with a defender in his face, set up the Saints with yet another score. Ted Ginn Jr. is back to receive the kick from Thomas Morstead, as once again the Saints, who have never led in this game, have drawn to within 3, and the kick well out of the end zone. And we want to welcome the viewers who have joined us here, and you're coming into an entertaining, wild game. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis here as the Miami Dolphins, who at one point led 24-3, now lead by 3.
You just alluded to it. Jeremy Shockey got things kick-started on the last drive. The missed tackle by Vontae Davis, and look how he just takes Jabril Wilson downfield with the straight arm before Jabril Wilson goes down low and cuts his legs out. The energy, the passion, the emotion of Jeremy Shockey.
And you wouldn't think the defenses have played well in this game, but believe me, they have.
Yeah, Reggie Bush does his Michael Jordan imitation going in.
First down from the 20. Chad Henne, the second-year quarterback, with the pass, and it's nearly intercepted by Jabari Greer on the pass intended for Bess. Good coverage by the Saints downfield.
Look at the coverage by Jabari Greer working on Devon Bess. Just sits at the hip, and now he's able to undercut the route because he's running at the hip. And then right here, watch how deep Darren Sharper is from the line of scrimmage playing center field. And he's reading, moves over, and now he's coming and almost has a chance to get another tip ball.
Sharper intercepted a pass and ran in for a touchdown for the third time this year. Meanwhile, 2nd and 10. And this is the play that Henning has it batted down, and Jabari Greer, who was with the Bills the last 5 years, along with Vilma and Sharper, have distinguished themselves in the Saints defense today.
And now the Saints defense sensing this is an opportunity, and Jabari Greer comes right back after the great coverage. Now he's rushing the passer and knocks the ball away. Big third down for the Saints defense. This is why Greg Williams was hired as their defensive coordinator for these types of moments.
Dolphins are 5 for 12, came in leading the league in third down conversions. On 3rd and 10, and here comes a safety blitz, and Henne going deep, and the pass to Ginn is incomplete. Coverage downfield by Tracy Porter. 4th down coming up, and the Dolphins will have to kick.
Take a look at the coverage by Tracy Porter working with Ted Ginn. They're going to take a shot with their sprinter at wide receiver, and Tracy Porter can run a bit too, and almost comes up with an interception himself as he knocks it away on 3rd down. Look at Greg Williams. Hey, you want to live on the edge or die on the porch is his philosophy.
Brandon Fields with the punt, and Reggie Bush at the 36-yard line. And Bush breaks away and finally is put down at the 40 by Nathan Jones. Great defense on both sides, and lately it's been the Saints secondary coming up big. A game summary, 21 second-half points. The Saints, who never trailed coming into this game, have not led throughout the game. And looking for a comeback victory as Mike Bell carries on 1st down from the 40-yard line. And he gets 3 yards on the play. Consider that the Saints had only 3 points halfway through the 2nd quarter as you look at Drew Brees' number. And they have come on strong, trailing 34-31, looking to take their first lead. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Saints have run at the Dolphins most of the second half, and the Dolphins have always had an answer. We'll see about this series.
And here is Mike Bell, and Mike Bell will get the first down barely into Dolphin territory. Philip Merling makes the play. So you mentioned earlier the fresh legs of Mike Bell paying off for the Saints here in the 4th quarter.
Dick, he's really a luxury for the New Orleans Saints. You're talking about 3 backs with 1,000-yard potential. Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Mike Bell. Mike Bell was a starter for the Broncos as an undrafted rookie free agent. And now he's here in New Orleans getting his 2nd chance. Said he got the big head in Denver and probably deserved to be cut. He's lost 11 pounds and is better than ever.
2nd year with the club. You saw Reggie Bush on the sideline. 1st down at the 49 of Miami. Here is Drew Brees with time, and this pass is caught by Jeremy Shockey with a little histrionics after the catch. His 3rd of the game, at for 16 yards, and a 1st down at the 33.
He had been quiet for a long time. I think he caught 1 pass in the 1st half, and now they've gone to him after that 45-yard catch and run after the after the first contact, that big play. They've come right back to him again for another one.
And Charles, that 66-yard play, all told, was the longest of his career. So a 1st down at the 33. Here's Mike Bell, and Bell is hit from behind, and that's Kendall Langford who stops the running game, a 2-yard pickup. And boy, the tight ends have really gone wild against the Dolphins this year.
And remember, these are the first 3 games, and you're talking about Tony Gonzalez with Atlanta, Dallas Clark with Indianapolis, and Antonio Gates with San Diego. The last 2 games, they shut the tight ends down, but now Jeremy Shockey has reignited the tight ends working against the Dolphins secondary debate.
And Zach Streif, the tackle, announces a tight end. He's number 64. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Play action for Breeze at the 40, and his pass is caught by Shockey again. Jeremy Shockey does not get out of bounds. The clock still runs, but it'll be a 1st down at the 17.
The graphic we just showed about the tight ends and the work they've done against the Dolphins secondary, you're also talking about now when you add Jeremy Shockey into the mix, 4 Pro Bowl tight ends. I mean, you're talking about big-time players now finding seams in the Dolphins defense.
And going over 100 yards in the process with 4 catches. 1st and 10, Mike Bell. And Bell taken down from behind by Aiken Adele after a gain of 7 yards. And the Saints in this rally coming back here in the latter stages of the 3rd quarter and here in the 4th against Paul Pasqualoni's defense, running the ball effectively.
Not as easy play calling against the Saints offense as it was in the first half. They've got it clicking because they're able to run the football as well as throw it.
Pierre Thomas comes in the game and running back. 2nd down and 3. And a fake to Thomas, and the pass out to the fullback, Heath Evans. And Evans is driven out of bounds again by Adele at the 4-yard line. But looking overall at the Saints today and shaken up a bit was Evans, is the fact that when they were behind, the Saints did not ignore the running game, and it brought them back.
Able to stay with the strength of their team throughout this year. And the other question was, could you get them into a tight game in the 4th quarter? How would they react? Long way to go in this one. But right now, the early reviews are good for the Saints in terms of being able to come back and not just play as a front runner.
Time is called. It'll be 1st and goal.
And the playbook is wide open for Sean Payton on 1st and goal because of what you just said, Dick. The ability to run the football and staying with it throughout this ball game. They're getting good yardage running it, and of course, anytime you have the ball in Drew Brees' hands throwing it, you feel confident.
David Thomas, the backup tight end and a good blocker, moves into that role for the Saints. 1st and goal. The Saints have not had the lead in this game, and they can take it here. And Jason Taylor and Porter are both out of the game. They're working on Taylor. Tight formation, multiple tight ends. Pierre Thomas and a quarterback sneak and a touchdown for Drew Brees, his 2nd of the game, and the Saints take their 1st lead.
Take a look at this. Look at what they have loaded here. Those are all linemen or tight ends showing a power formation that way. And Drew Brees with a little quarterback draw, sneak, whatever you want to call it. And you don't want to play him in hoops.
I'll tell you what, I don't remember when I've seen Brees as emotional in a game. And John Carney with the extra point, trying to give the Saints a 4-point lead, and the kick is no good. And it's a 3-point game. That's huge. We're going to take a timeout as the Saints lead for the first time, 37-34.
Nothing automatic about the point after touchdown. This is Mark Brunell, the backup quarterback, holding. The snap's a little inside, but it should be one he can handle. He doesn't quite get it down the right way, and it's hooked. And they miss it, and instead of a 4-point lead, now all the Dolphins need is a tying field goal.
And the Dolphins will take it out at the 20-yard line. So with Jason Taylor on the sideline, along with Joey Porter,
So there's Mark Brunell on the sidelines talking with the snapper, Jason Kyle, discussing what happened, but I really believe for the most part, that was one Mark Brunell should have been able to handle. And Dick, in this league, you don't see the backup quarterback holding very often anymore. Most oftentimes, it's the punter, because the punter and the kicker spend more time together during practice. The backup quarterback has other duties.
In case you want a surprise pass,
yeah, exactly.
The quarterback. And Morstead, of course, is a rookie. So it's first down on the 20-yard line. Chad Henne gets hit from behind. And tell you what, the Dolphins' offensive line really has to face the siege and the surge of the Saints defensive rush.
And you're exactly right, because with Greg Williams as the defensive coordinator, don't expect the Saints to rush 3 and drop 8 or rush 4 and drop 7 very often. He always wants to play it on the edge. He always wants more pressure going at the quarterback. And he saw Chad Henne execute a game-winning drive against the Jets, so he wants to put as much pressure on him as possible.
And the Wildcat for the Dolphins on 2nd and 10. Ricky Williams, fake handoff, and Ronnie Brown looking to throw. And here's Ronnie Brown downfield, and it's caught. And let's see what they rule, incomplete. Fasano could not hold on to it. It is an incomplete pass. Ronnie Brown, who completed one out of the Wildcat against the Jets 2 weeks ago.
How about Ronnie Brown trying to look like a true quarterback, not a running back playing quarterback, scanning the field, looking for other receivers, buying time with his legs to extend the play, and then makes a pretty nice throw downfield. But Anthony Fasano just bobbles and drops as he tries to come down with it.
Ronnie Brown telling us, he says, look, I've never played quarterback before.
He said, yeah, that's right. He said, I will not exceed my ability to throw the football.
So 3rd down and 10. With Henne back in, and here is Chad Henne nowhere near the receiver, and it was Hardline who took off downfield. So a untimely 3 and out for the Dolphins, trying to get it to the rookie receiver.
And I think the question people would come back to is that on 2nd down you go Wildcat and throw the football with a guy who isn't ordinarily your thrower. It should have worked out. Tough catch by Fasano. He wasn't able to make it, but it seems on a down like that, you'd rather have your quarterback throwing the ball.
Here's Reggie Bush, and you saw how dangerous he is on the graphic from the 25. And he got about 4 yards more than he should have. Finally, Cameron Wake brings him down. And with 8 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, the Saints, with a 3-point lead, take over on offense.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
We're back, and the Saints scoring touchdowns on their last 3 possessions. And keep in mind that Mike Bell, ever since he's been in the game, the Saints have surged back. Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams waiting for another chance. It'll be a first down on the 34. And here is Mike Bell, and Bell gets a couple. He's carried 8 times for 67 yards and a flag down in the backfield.
After the play, personal foul. Number 55, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
And Joey Porter, guilty of the flag, still yelling at the Saints.
And this is not the time for this for the Miami Dolphins. Watch Joey Porter after the play. He's going to feel like he was done wrong, but it's always who that gets caught. The second guy, see, there's the block, and then Joey Porter gets caught, and it was the referee from the backside. David Thomas, the tight end, was blocking on him, got the shot in, and Porter on the retaliation gets nailed, and the Dolphins lose 15 yards. And the Saints are in their 4-minute offense. And the difference this year is their ability to run the football to try and run games out. That's what makes the Saints different.
And here's Mike Bell, who had a 35-yard run, and Bell gets it to the 44-yard line. Gain of 3 yards on the play as we have under 7.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. And you're so right about the Saints, not just a passing team with Drew Brees, but 4th in rushing offense coming into this game. And they were well down in rushing yards. They have 128 on the ground, only 4 fewer than the Dolphins.
And remember the disparity early in the ball game when the Dolphins were running it so well. They have a great belief in their ability to run the football this year.
Second down and 7. And there's Breeze looking left and going right, and another completion, this time to Devery Henderson, who is down at the 22-yard line by Jabril Wilson, and a 22-yard gain and another first down for the Saints.
Take a look at a super quarterback. Watch how he moves the defense with his eyes. See, he moves them there and then comes back the other way and sticks it right on the numbers of Devery Henderson. Number 19 running in the slot. Great throw, great catch. What a job by Drew Brees directing the defense with his eyes.
He doesn't even have to throw a tight spiral, which he didn't on that play.
He put it right in the numbers, though.
And here's Mike Bell up the middle. And Bell tackled from behind by Adele. Gaining 6 yards on the play. So time of possession now favors the Saints. And welcome the viewers to Miami. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, as the New Orleans Saints, who never trailed coming into this game, now have a lead for the first time, 37-34. It's 6:03 remaining in the fourth quarter. 27 second-half points by New Orleans after they were down by 3 touchdowns. And a wild game it is, but Drew Brees and the running game getting it done for the Saints down the stretch.
And they've done a nice job at holding their poise, at being down 24-3 at one point, and not letting the game get away from them. So many people question the Saints. Could they play in the fourth quarter with the game on the line? They're trying to answer that question here today.
Look at the total yardage and the points we've had in the game. 71. Second down and 4 from the 17. Pierre Thomas, the running back for Drew Brees. And Brees going back, and his pass incomplete. Trying to get it to Jeremy Shockey, who has a big day today, going over 100 yards. Jeremiah Bell defended.
That would have been a tough catch. Ball's a little high, slightly there. You see that? Got to extend for it. Got a little zip on it. Shockey unable to come up with it. He's going to be mad at himself, but it definitely would have been a tough catch.
Third down and 4. Saints on their last touchdown missed an extra point to keep it a 3-point game.
Dolphins late getting personnel on the field.
And the Saints have been perfect in the red zone thus far. And here's Brees. Pumps once and goes out to Reggie Bush. And Bush gets the first down as he eluded a defender. It was Jabril Wilson who had a shot at him, and Reggie Bush getting 12 yards, and it'll be first and goal for the Saints.
And we just saw the benefits of the offseason work Reggie Bush did in rehabilitating his knee and getting stronger as he shakes off the tackle from Jabril Wilson, stays in bounds, and picks up the first down and then some, and gives a fresh set of downs to the New Orleans Saints as they try and run this game out with 5 minutes to go.
It's been a weird kind of game in that Drew Brees, the great passer, has rushed for more touchdowns than he's thrown today. He'll have a first and goal. Mike Bell is the running back, and he's been effective. And here's Bell up the middle, and Bell getting to about the 1. Jabril Wilson, free safety, 5-yard play. It'll be second and goal.
Hear people talk all the time about 4-minute drill for offenses, meaning trying to run the game down, run the clock down, possess the football. And that's exactly what the Saints have done. Mike Bell has been a punishing inside runner since he's entered the game in the second half, putting the ball in the shadow of the Dolphins' goal line.
He's gained 81 yards since coming into the third quarter. And here is Bell again, but the Dolphins knocked him back some. And Philip Merling leading the way. So third and goal coming up as we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in regulation. Paul Pasqualoni, the defensive coordinator, Tony Sperano, the head coach, to his left.
And a field goal keeps the Dolphins in it. They can't afford to give up the 6 here.
Porter is in the game, as is Jason Taylor. And Drew Brees going over to talk to the referee John Parry about something. And he'll call a timeout. It'll be the first timeout called by the Saints in a wild game. And just when you thought that the Dolphins had a chance to break open the game, they didn't. The Saints got back in, and it's been a seesaw game since.
It really has, and it's been a game where the Dolphins have played it exactly as they wanted to play it. Sprint out ahead, put the pressure on the Saints. They're up 24-3. Let's see if the Saints can handle that. They've been used to being the team ahead. Well, guess what? We found out the Saints can handle that. Now we're down to the most crucial play of the game for Miami. If they can't keep them out of the end zone, it changes the whole complexion, because if they do, they can still get the ball down a touchdown and have a chance to come back and tie the game.
And the great story of this game, Charles, is the fact that the Saints were down, but they then went heavily to their running game in the second half.
Never gave up on it. I mean, you at 24-3, you would expect a barrage of passes from the New Orleans Saints. They stayed with their game plan, and now it's got them in a spot with a chance to win it.
Porter goes off. Poston lined up to the right. Two receivers to the left on 3rd and goal. And there's Brees' pass. And Poston can't make the play with Vontae Davis on him. And 4th down coming up. A field goal would make it a 6-point lead for the Saints.
And the rookie, Vontae Davis, puts the Miami Dolphins in a spot now to have a chance to win the ball game because of his coverage on Marcus Colston. I love the call anyway. If you're the Saints, you got your Pro Bowl wide receiver against a rookie, one-on-one isolated. You'll take that every single time. A nice play by Vontae Davis in coverage.
And we've seen Colston make that kind of catch with Brees in the past. So now the field goal attempt by John Carney from 20 yards out. He missed an extra point, just hooked it. The last time the Saints scored. And Carney, field goal is good from 20 yards out, and the Saints lead it 40-34. And who would have figured midway through the second quarter that the Saints, who have averaged 38 points a game, would even approach their season's average, and now they've exceeded it. The second half, the interception, Darren Sharper off the deflection by Porter, and he ran it back for the touchdown. Here's Jeremy Shockey.
And then Drew Brees with a quarterback draw sneak and the dunk. And then here's the big play. The missed extra point there when Mark Brunell unable to get the hold down. Because now, where does that leave us? Even after the field goal, a touchdown ties the game and an extra point wins it for the Miami Dolphins.
So Jeremy Shockey, who played at the University of Miami, knows what the heat is at this time of day, this time of year. And Chad Henne in his 3rd start. Those are his numbers. And growing pains for all young quarterbacks. But keep in mind, got to go back to the game against the Jets 2 weeks ago. Chad Henne did what all coaches hope the quarterback can do, and that is lead a team down the field to tie or win a game at the end.
70-yard game-winning drive against the New York Jets, and made some key throws in the drive to get them in a position to have a chance to win it.
Morstead kicking off to Ted Ginn Jr. And he'll down it there for a touchback. Big game tonight on Fox. First, the OT presented by Lowe's will wrap you up on football, and then Game 6 of the American League Championship Series. Yankee Stadium the scene. Can the Yankees defeat the Angels and move on to the World Series against the Phillies? You'll see that game, of course, tonight on Fox, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. after the OT in high definition, only on Fox, and the World Series also on Fox. Andy Pettitte, outstanding in postseason series clinchers, will try to wrap it up for the Yankees. First down from the 20. Henne stepping up and going underneath to Ricky Williams. And Williams picking up about 6 yards on the play, with Vilma making the tackle. The Dolphins have 2 timeouts left.
And with 3:10 to go, their running game is not totally out of the picture. It does not have to be pass, pass, pass in this situation. 2 timeouts, still 3 minutes to go.
Second down and 4. Going deeper this time, and the pass dropped by Ted Ginn Jr. A huge drop there. That would have been a first down and then some.
The ball brought him back to the inside where he had to turn around to catch it, but that's one that has to be caught. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No one's going to give you much of an excuse in this situation. He's thinking about catching it and getting upfield instead of just securing the catch.
He's had problems catching passes, and of course in the last couple of weeks since Henne has started, has gained confidence by holding on to them. Now it's 3rd and 4.
Look for pressure to come from New Orleans.
Fake handoff, and here's Henne. He has time, completes it to Camarillo, and a first down. Greg Camarillo to the 44-yard line. Keeps the drive going for Miami, and a gain of 18.
Well done by the offensive line of Chad Henne, picking up the little bit of pressure that came from New Orleans and left Chad Henne clean in the pocket and able to step forward and deliver the strike.
2.5 to play in the 4th. Henne 11 for 25. He's got Camarillo again into Saints territory and knocked away. The ball went out of bounds. It'll be Miami ball, and a late flag is thrown.
It may be for him trying to throw the ball over the sideline to create a fumble and stop the clock because he could not get his body out of bounds. Watch Camarillo at the end of this play. He realized he can't get there, and it looks like he tosses it over the sideline. Pretty good two-hand shovel pass over the sideline. I give Greg Camarillo that.
So the conference led by John Parry, the referee. Seven officials. Every one of them trying to get it right.
Illegal forward pass. Number 83. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. And a loss of down.
And that is big. Penalty and then the loss of down. How about the Saints with 30 points in the second half after getting only 10 in the first?
The big number is 0 in the fourth quarter for Miami. Saints defense rising up in the 4th.
So it'll be 3rd down. 3rd down and 8. Unofficial yellow line is where the Dolphins have to get it to, and here's Henne's pass, and it's dropped again by Ricky Williams. So Williams, it looked like he wanted to run before he had the ball secured, and 4th down coming up. 3rd down because of the penalty before.
Take a look. Started to turn upfield. That's twice now the receivers trying to get upfield before they're able to secure it. See what had happened, Dick, was there's a first down on the catch to Camarillo.
Right.
And then they lost it down, made it 2nd down to start the next series.
It's 3rd down and 8 from the 46. Camarillo lines up to the right. And a whistle.
False start. Number 64. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So another critical penalty. That was Jake Grove, the center, with a false start. So 5 more yards tacked on. Back to the 41-yard line.
You don't often see the center called for the false start, but he lifted before he snapped the football. That could be called bobbing, trying to draw people off sides.
3rd down and 13.
Here they come. Nope, fooled me.
Here comes Henne and overthrows Polite, the tight end, the fullback, and 4th down coming up, and the Dolphins drive, which started at the 20 and looked promising, has stalled. And it'll be 4th down and 13.
Now there could be a thought to punting the football here with 2 timeouts, right? And a 2-minute warning, but I don't think you want to give the ball to Drew Brees without having had your best opportunity to keep the ball. And you got to go for it here.
So the game really on the line. Got to make the first down to keep hope. If you punt, you don't want to give the ball away. You can use timeouts on the other end. So that's the respect they have for Drew Brees and company. Here's Henny. Flag is down, and this pass is intercepted by Porter. Tracy Porter down the sideline. And he'll go in for the score, pending the flag down at the 40-yard line. It'll be a 53-yard interception return, but we'll see who the penalty is on. We got players from both units, from both teams on the field.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving at the snap. Penalties decline. Result of the play. Score.
So it's a touchdown, and Tracy Porter, who was injured last year and has come on to play solid play defensively at cornerback with a 53-yard interception in return, the second of the game for the Saints. Darren Sharper returned one 42 yards for a score in the third quarter, and now the Saints leading 46-34 will go for 2.
Trying to get up 14 points. So if you get the touchdown, right, got to make both extra points for 2 touchdowns in order to tie.
So for Chad Henne, things started to break down a bit with the penalty of Camarillo, with the delay of the game call, loss of down, and then the false start penalty.
And it's different playing from behind when your running game threat is lessened for a young quarterback.
And just as big, the 2 drops on the drive by Ginn and Williams.
See Henne under pressure, and he's throwing it to the outside, and his receivers are breaking to the inside. One of the easiest interceptions Tracy Porter will have in his career.
So 1:53 on the clock, and we have had 7 turnovers in this game, and there have been scores on all 7 turnovers.
How about the changeup of Greg Williams, showing the pressure, then dropping everyone off. He ended up dropping 8, and it turns into the game-winning play.
So the 2-point conversion, Pierre Thomas, the running back, make this a 14-point game, and Drew Brees, his pass, and it's knocked away. It was intended for Colston, and Davis was defending, so the 2-point conversion fails, but the Saints have added to their lead. They're up 46-34. 2-minute warning here in Miami, and we'll be right back. Turning point in the game and the key plays. Fumble recovery, and then talking Peyton into going for the touchdown, and they scored.
All that right before the end of the first half. It was 24-3 Dolphins when the fumble occurred, and they had the football driving. Goes the other way. The Saints score right before the half, and since that point, they have not looked back, outscoring the Dolphins 36-10 in the second half, starting with the interception return for a touchdown by Darren Sharper.
And including 43-10 if you include that touchdown, but 22 unanswered points by the Saints. And this kick will sail out, and it will go out of bounds, so the Dolphins will take over on the 40-yard line. With 1:53 to go,
ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line.
Dolphins still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Miami.
And they need 2 scores to pull this one out. So the Dolphins to this point have given the Saints a scare for the first time this season. They had never trailed. They were down, as you mentioned, 24-3. But maybe it'll be the most rewarding victory they have if they can hold on.
If they can hold on, this will not just be rewarding, but it'll be telling about the character of this team.
First down at the 40. The handoff is to Ronnie Brown. And Brown gets out to the 45-yard line. Want to thank our production and technical crew. Today's game produced by Fran Morrison and directed by Artie Kempner. Marvin Kale, our technical producer, technical director John Howard, and the audio mixer is Jeff Cohen. 2nd down and 5. Henne completes it in midfield to Camarillo. And the clock continues to run. Dolphins still have 2 timeouts remaining.
They're a little shy of the first down there.
3rd down and 1, but the down is not the important thing unless they run out of them. There's the quick toss, and going high to make the grab is Fasano to the 45-yard line. 1 minute remains in the 4th quarter. The Dolphins need 2 scores to pull it out against the Saints. Don't forget the Angels-Yankees, the big Game 6 of the ALCS coming up after the OT. That pass caught by Fasano was hit immediately. We told you the OT coming up next. And finally, the Dolphins, with 40 seconds left in the 4th, call a timeout. They have 1 remaining.
So we know the Saints remain undefeated. The Vikings toppled from the undefeated ranks earlier today by Pittsburgh. Plenty for the guys to talk about.
And it's really a tough one to take for the Miami Dolphins, who had it going on both sides of the ball for the first half.
What's really difficult, Dick, is when you have your blueprint for a game diagrammed and you're executing it perfectly and it still gets away from you. Could not have gone any better for the Dolphins for much of the game, and still it appears the Saints will walk out of here with the victory.
2nd down and 9, 40 seconds remain. Ball at the 44 of New Orleans. Henne's pass caught by Camarillo, still on his feet, and he gets out of bounds. Does not have to toss the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. He stops it with 34 ticks remaining. So not only have the Saints defense really come up big, and they came in the game 9th in the league in that department, but their running game really exploded. So I know they beat the Giants in huge fashion last week in the Battle of Unbeatens, but I think they're going to be more proud of this game today, coming from behind as they did, showing everything that they do on both sides.
Agreed, especially the ability to run the football even though they were behind on the scoreboard.
3rd down and 6, and Ted Ginn Jr., and they'll say that is a completed catch at the 31 as the Dolphins use their 3rd and last timeout. All right, well, the New Orleans Saints going on the road and heading for victory. They're home with 2 games against the Falcons and the Panthers. Panthers could be a dangerous team. Then they go to St. Louis and Tampa Bay. So you got New England on November 30th. So this is a big hurdle for the Saints to get back, because if they said this was a trap game, they've handled it well.
And nothing easy, because you have 2 division games coming up. But the rest of the schedule, save New England, appears to be very manageable of the games that we just showed.
Don't forget the OT coming up right away, sponsored by Lowe's, and then Game 6 of the ALCS. Can the Yankees put away the Angels? First down with 28 seconds left. No timeouts remaining for the Dolphins, and that pass to Camarillo off his fingertips. And a flag down.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 28 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Usama Young, the dime back for the Saints. So that'll be an automatic first down. Dolphins will have it on the 26. Down by 12 with 23 seconds and no timeouts left. For the first time in NFL history, 3 teams undefeated through week 7, including these Saints, the Broncos and Colts as well.
Broncos enjoying a bye week. The Colts got a win today.
First down, and Henne pumps once and goes for the end zone, and Ted Ginn Jr. well covered by Tracy Porter.
Chad Henne thought that they had opportunities to make plays on Tracy Porter coming into today, and they made a couple. But for the most part, I think Tracy Porter's had a very nice game on the corner today.
And Porter, of course, who played at Indiana, and of course Chad Henne, who played at Michigan, familiar with Porter.
And he thought if we could get some plays, it might be over Tracy Porter. But for the most part, Tracy Porter has won those battles.
2nd down and 10. 17 seconds left. Henne on the slant completes it to Hartline. And Brian Hartline getting inside the 10-yard line. The Dolphins can't stop the clock. And time may be running out. And they clock the ball with 1 second remaining. Well, the Saints are going to win this game. But the Dolphins want to get one more score if they can. 1 second to go.
That's representative of their head coach, Tony Sparano. Yeah, there's no give up. There's no just conceding anything ever. And that's just how they're going to play this game out.
And of course, Ricky Williams with 3 touchdowns. Took 9 years for him to get 3. So barring a defensive penalty, this will be the last play of the game. And the conference in the middle of the field. But tremendous credit to the New Orleans Saints. And we've been discussing it. The fact that their defense played big. 2 passes returned for touchdowns by their secondary, Darren Sharper, as well as Tracy Porter. And the Saints remain a high-octane offense. 3 touchdowns Charles scored in the last 2 weeks, and 10 different players have scored.
It's a lot of touchdowns. I mean, you talk about 7 different guys scored touchdowns last week against the Giants. Could this be it?
The wide receiver on the left side of the line was not set at the snap. That's a 10-second runoff. Miami had no timeouts remaining. Game is over.
And the New Orleans Saints have beaten the Miami Dolphins. And Sean Payton and Tony Sparano, good friends and former colleagues in Dallas, shake hands. We'll be back to Landmark Stadium in just a minute. Dolphins led 34-24 going into the 4th, and the Saints with 22 unanswered points win the game 46-34 to remain unbeaten. Now we'll take a look at the Domino's Delivers leaderboard. Drew Brees, 3 total touchdowns. Mike Bell, great rushing in the second half for 80 yards, and Jeremy Shockey goes over 100 with 4 catches in the game. So the Saints remain undefeated. They go to 6-0, and the Dolphins drop to 2-4. For Charles Davis, Jamie Maggio, Dick Stockton saying so long. When we come back, we'll be joined by the OT to wrap up today's NFL doings.